Carpets Plus Color Tile, Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2 Drywall, Michigan ADOS, the Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus, and Paris Auto Sales.
There's a man named Pat Curry, he's got a passion for the news. Brings the stories of Big Rapids and Mecosta County to you. Tune in and turn it up, let's have some fun.
All right, Bobby, sorry I'm late this morning. I got a lot going on over at Curry's table this morning. Great group of veterans in there this morning. The commander from the post over there was in this morning. I had breakfast with him. I didn't eat anything, but he had a good breakfast this morning there hooked at Curry's. Proud to be an American today, as every day we should be, but today we honor veterans coming through Big Rapids. I hope everybody gets down there, and I know it's a little bit cool, but it's not real cold. It's supposed to be 33 degrees at 11 o'clock post time. Those guys put a lot of work in and day out. One veteran was in this morning, and he was kind of like shell-shocked in the Iraq War. It pretty much has ruined his whole life. He fights demons every day. He tries to stay positive, but it's really hard. And I've talked to him over the years about it, what it was like over there. And he says, Pat, he says, it's pure hell. So I hope someday I can go to heaven and get rid of the pure hell in my mind. So, we are so grateful. I know I am, of these guys that have kept our freedom going here for 200 and some years, 250 or whatever it's been. I'm just mind-boggling right now that the whole community won't be there today, and I'm sure it will be. I'm not giving up, but I think we have a great community, and I'm going to stop it at that because it's very sensitive, touching moment today for me. All right, so yesterday I went to Grand Rapids to visit my brother-in-law, Jack Prescott. He's not doing very well. I walked through that heart center yesterday, and it's pretty wake-up call for me because, as the older you get, the more appreciative you are in life and what you had. And there's a lot of guys down there that are passing on every day down there, and some of them come out of there alive, which is great medical care that they get down there. The nurses down there, I don't know how they hold up with what they go through. And my cousin Mike DePew's down there right now going through some trials of life, and keep him in your prayers too. So I'm trying to get uplifting here, and that's why I'm glad Tyler Hunty's with me and his lovely wife
Alexis.
Alexis, thank you. I gotta get my brain tuned into. I'm kind of not depressed, but you know what I mean, Tyler? You ever get that way? Like, I'm getting old, I know, and people like Teresa Fry, I admire her. She's in her, late 80s, 90, and she's always positive. Paulette DeVries is another one. I got to look at her right now in my mind because Paulette's always got a smile on her face because she's very grateful for life. And I am too, Bob, aren't you? Huh? Yeah. So anyway, Veterans Day today at 11 o'clock. Show your patriotism. Be down there today and show your support and cheer them on. Thank them. Shake their hand and thank them for supporting America. A couple more things before I forget. The Buck Pole is starting November 15th. That's Saturday morning. Thanks to Casey and Cal from Barrington's Firearms. We got some great tickets in the station. Great tickets to maybe win you one of the 3 guns that we're going to be raffling off. That being said, the Eagles has got their $25 ticket right now going. Kim Wells is ahead of that. Tried to raise some big money for the Eagles. And you can get those, I think, from Kim Wells. I know you can at Pennzoil there or whatever. And if you can't, get a hold of me and I'll make sure you get a ticket. But it's a good way to support the Eagles. All right, Tyler, good morning. Alexis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The reason I asked you two on this morning is because, again, I got to get uplifting, and you guys are always uplifting. Tyler, every time he comes in the station, there's a lot of young people in this community that have tried to make it. Tyler, you're one of those positive guys that I know for sure. God has a big plan for you, and I know you're a believer and you have faith. And I know your wife does too, and you got, 2 beautiful children, right?
Yeah, we have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, 2 boys.
Yeah, 2 boys, Hunty boys. And for you folks, we're going to learn a little bit about history of Hunties, what Tyler's gone through as he grew up, sports that he played. I kind of want his life story, and Alexis's too. But, the Hunties have been a big force down there at Morley Stanwood athletic-wise and educational-wise, because his grandfather was the superintendent down there at Morley Stanwood for quite a few years.
Yeah, he was in administration, and my dad both were principals, and now both my brother-in-laws are in public education as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But you boys didn't. None of you boys.
No.
Mm-mm. That's kind of strange, isn't it?
I mean, I would say I'm in education.
Well, you
early
are.
education.
Yeah, bigger than ever, yeah. But isn't it funny that you didn't ever think about going into teaching?
Yeah, it's interesting. My grandpa was in education, and then my dad and both of his siblings went into it, and then I think maybe my cousin's the only one who stayed course and I guess went into the family business, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. I remember your name popping up and your brothers. You guys were pretty good athletes. Your dad was a standout in baseball, I believe, at Central, right?
Yeah.
And then you went to Central.
Yeah, we both were catchers at CMU.
What's it like growing up in a family of all athletes like that? Of course, you guys were made for athletes, but was there pressure in earlier years?
It never really felt like pressure because we loved it. Like I did, right? I can't speak on behalf of my siblings, but I'm kind of like a go, go, go type person. So if it was between staying at home or going in athletics field and practicing or playing a game, that's where I wanted to be. And for a lot of people who have young children in sports, I think the most important thing for them to be successful is to love the sport, right? Because to be great, you have to practice. And if you're going to go and practice, you're going to have to like what you're doing and like that process. So I never really felt the pressure. I just loved it. And my parents afforded me every opportunity they could to play travel ball or go play pickup basketball. I mean, my mom was pretty straightforward when she was like, hey, if you want any money for college, you're going to have to earn it through an athletic scholarship or academic scholarship. So, it was just, we loved playing sports. All of us siblings played, I'm pretty sure, 3 sports, and everybody was pretty successful with them.
What 3 were they then?
For me, it was baseball, football, and basketball.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're a pretty good football player, too.
We had a great team.
Yeah.
Right. I was just a quarterback. We ran a straight T offense, so my job was to hand the ball off most of the time. But yeah.
But were you big as you are now in high school?
Yeah. I was 6'2", 185 pounds. I was an interesting combination of positions. I was a quarterback, a punter, and a defensive end. So that tells you small school when your quarterback is playing DN for you as well.
Your dad, he must have played football too, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was pretty instrumental on coaching you on through all your sports.
Yeah, he was our football coach when I was in high school, and then he didn't coach basketball or baseball. He actually he was a coach for the last half of his season when I was in high school in basketball. There was an issue with the coach, so he jumped in there as athletic director, and we actually had a great rest of our season. But yeah.
Now, baseball, you had Ford. Who was your coach?
Craig Schaefer was my coach.
Oh, okay. Craig Schaefer. Where's he at now?
He retired from Morley Stanwood when he was a social studies teacher, and then I know he lived over in the Beale City area, so I'd imagine he's back over there. He had 2 younger boys at the time.
So who was your dad's coach? Do you remember? Erickson?
Baseball?
Yeah.
I think it's Loudon, I think was his name. Yeah.
So Ford was in between you and your dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was a hell of a coach down there.
He was a good coach. Yeah. He definitely set a precedent for high quality baseball at Morley Stanwood. And I think I actually listened to Doc Fry was on this show.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, Loudon was really the person who set the tone. And Ford learned from him. So, Morley Stanwood, being a small school, you'll see traditions of excellence in different sports. Like if you look at volleyball, the girls' sports are always very good. And, I give the coaches a lot of credit for, that long-term success with those teams.
Yeah, I know. But so like your dad, what's he doing now? Is he back in schools again?
Yeah, he's back as the athletic director.
Can't leave.
No, well, he was there doing payroll or some like administrative. So he retired and then, he went back and worked. But Dale Rogers went to Big Rapids Middle School, and the athletic director secretary left as well. So they asked him, hey, do you want to go back and be AD and fill these two positions? And I don't know how the conversation went, but he just told me one day at Golf Lake, well, I'm the AD again. I was like, well, it sounds a little more up your alley then.
Right. I was pretty young yet. Well, so you went more to Stanwood, then you went to Central. Tell us about that experience.
I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah, I loved it.
Who was your coach over there?
Steve Jacksa was my coach. Anybody who plays a college sport or anybody who's interested in it, it's a huge commitment, right? Like, it's more hours in a week than a full-time job on top of school. And then in baseball, there's a ton of games, so you're on the road a lot. So it's a big commitment. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I loved the sport. When I played, there was no NIL, so people would come into the team and, we'd stick it out together. It wasn't if a guy had a bad year or a good year, they were looking for greener grass somewhere else. But my senior year, we won the MAC championship, and the first 4 hitters of our lineup were all guys like my group of my class that was redshirt freshmen. And we all earned our way into being, the leaders on that team, your first 4 hitters, starters, and then we won a MAC championship, which really just shows like the opportunity for development. But I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of NIL, but I think it's creating a lot of challenges in college sports, and it's really tough for the coaches. And I think the kids lose a lot of the value that there is with joining a team and trying to achieve a mission together and feeling committed like that.
Who is behind that, do you think? Why did they do such a stupid thing? My English is stupid, because now, it's hard for me to sit there and support a team when the people that are playing it, it's not really, they're there for one reason themselves. Why are we doing that? We're starting a whole new culture, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't really know where it started, but I can just say, I was just back. Lexi and I went back to the CMU homecoming a couple weeks ago, when I was talking to the CMU's head coach now is a guy I played with, and he's like, it's so much different. Like the guys, we bled maroon and gold, and he's like, it's not like that anymore. Like it's made college sports very selfish. Yeah. And, it's sad to see. I think it's good for, the small percentage of people who, get picked up out of high school and are paid $1 million to go be a quarterback at Michigan or something like that. But I think, the vast majority of college athletes are actually losing something from it.
Now, is that happening with baseball too, in the sports of baseball?
Yeah. I didn't think so. And then I asked Jake Sable, are you guys, like, how's the NIL affecting it? Do you have any money? And he's like, yeah, there's a couple donors who, you have to, right? If you want to get guys in, you have to spend some money, because that's just what is status quo out there now.
Central, though, last few years, up until they got Andy Brackema, basketball was down, football was down. Baseball, is that kind of steady over there yet, or I don't follow it? I just wondered.
The last couple years were tough, but before that, up from my senior year until I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, they were incredible. They were they were winning the MAC championship almost every year. They were making the NCAA tournament. And Central Michigan baseball has an incredible history. I think, something, I don't know if it's true, but it's what our coach always said. He's like, we're the most winningest baseball program in the Midwest for Division I baseball. Yeah.
Wow.
And we're competitive, right? We would go play Michigan and Michigan State. My senior year, we swept state. We'd beat Michigan every once in a while. So, it is a great baseball school, yeah.
Yeah. So you loved it. You smile when you talk about Central.
Yeah.
So you're a big supporter over there. You get over there a lot and watch the games?
More now. We went over last year. I think it was my first time back. Now that my boys are a little older and I can bring them there, right? And they get fired up to be at the baseball field, and they have bounce houses, and it's a good time. So,
got to give your mother some credit on your athleticism. I know your dad was a great ball player and everything, but your mother supported you all the way through your whole childhood and college and all that too, eh?
Oh yeah, and there's a family debate on where the athleticism came from, right? My dad was a good athlete, but then on my mom's side, Robin Koju is her sister, and so she played volleyball at Michigan State and then CMU. One of her sisters played basketball at Oakland, and another one played basketball at Central. So those three girls all played Division I sports. So
you should have their name too, and you're.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, I believe, is married to the assistant volleyball coach to Ferris, right?
Yep, Matt's doing some work with Ferris.
I just saw Robin and Matt at church Sunday. They were there, and they went over and had breakfast afterwards. I was talking to him. He's a hell of a nice guy, ain't he?
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah, they are. Their whole family is, and their daughter's a pretty good volleyball player.
Yeah, their oldest daughter, Piper, she's at Madonna, and then Maddie is she had
Junior, I think.
Junior.
Yeah, junior. I think, but she's pretty tall.
Yeah.
And then she's got a pretty good record down to Morley Stanwood coaching. Did your mother ever coach?
My mom did not play sports, so I'll tell her story for her.
Yeah.
They grew up on a dairy farm in Millington, Michigan. Millington.
I know. Yep. Forsyths lived over there.
Yeah. And she was the second oldest of 6 children, and they were a dairy farm. So instead of getting to play sports, she got to get up and milk cows.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, she was up early every morning, and what was that?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean that carried over too, into her coming in and establishing the childcare business, and then every morning my mom would be up at like 4 a.m. She's like, "Well, I just get up early because I had to when I milk cows." And
yeah, well, folks out there in Wonderland, wondering who are we talking to this morning? We're talking to Tyler Hunty, and his folks are from Stanwood, Morley. Or I shouldn't say Stanwood. I should say Morley. Well, Morley.
Stanwood.
Yeah, it is Stanwood. Oh, you're like
Morley.
Lynn Goldthwait, man. Lynn used to get after me all the time. No, Pat, I'm from Stanwood. Goldthwaits are from Stanwood. Well, anyway, we're talking about his mother and dad and the influence they had on him becoming who he is today, and it's going to be a good program today, so stay tuned. But I want to talk about your mother a little bit. She married your dad, and he wants to stay in Stanwood, obviously. They met at Central, probably.
Yep.
Okay. So what did she take at Central as educational-wise? And then we'll go to why I'm saying that is I want to see where we're going here.
So interestingly, my mom and I both graduated the same year from CMU. So she started her business degree, and then my dad went and played professional baseball for a summer. So she went out there with him, finishing her degree. And then she came back, and we graduated in the same semester.
Really?
Yep.
That's cool. So your dad played professional. Where at?
He played in the Giants organization out in Pocatello, Idaho for one season, and then he had an injury that was lingering from his senior year, and he said, well, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
It's not a very luxurious life, and especially in Pocatello, Idaho, I don't think there's.
Well, how about you now? We'll get to where you are now, but I'm going to go back up from when you played at Central 4 years, right, or 5, and then you didn't pursue pro? No? You said, I've had enough.
It's a long story.
Okay, well, here, we got time. No, I'm only kidding. Yeah.
I'll say this. When I was in college, like, my goal was to play professional baseball, right? And that was all I knew. So when that wasn't the direction I was going to take, it was a really challenging time. I mean, I've heard people say that athletes die twice because, that persona of Tyler Hunty, the athlete, like, that was over, right? So I had to kind of reinvent myself and say, oh my gosh, what am I going to be the rest of my life? And I didn't have any plan because I got a degree, right? I got a degree at Central in business management, which serves me well now, but I plan to play professional baseball.
And
so then out of college, I went and worked third shift in a cereal factory in Grand Rapids for, several months, and then realized, this is not getting me anywhere. I tried to take interviews during the day with other businesses, and it was challenging. So I moved back home into my parents' house, and I was a substitute teacher for a few months. So I did a month as a gym teacher, a month as an art teacher, and then a week. And my dad was the elementary principal at the time, and their third grade teacher was out for a week because of a death in the family. So I stepped into that third grade classroom, and I was like, I think that's enough for me. But it was probably like the darkest time of my life, again, because I just had no direction and no purpose. And I got a call from my aunt who lived in Metro Detroit, and she's like, hey, your mom has been kind of sharing with us that you're a little down, as moms like to overshare with their siblings sometimes. And she said, I'm having this wine party on Friday night, and we're going to have a friend there. I don't know what he does, but I know he does really well financially, and you should just come meet him. And I can remember, I would say like this is the turning point of my life. I can remember laying on my bed after she texted me that and being like, man, I really don't want to drive 3 hours to Detroit. Because at that time I was like, oh my gosh, it's so far away. But you ultimately, what did I have to lose? And I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. So I went down there, met with him, stayed down there, and went in for interviews on Monday, and they offered me a job. They didn't have a position, but it was a sales job, and they're like, hey, if you make the business money, we'll give you a cut of that. And that was the start for me down in Metro Detroit.
What was that business?
So that business was automotive leads. So they would source in-market automotive consumer information, and then they would sell it to car dealerships. And it was kind of a funny business because, they'd get one consumer in, and let's say you're looking for a Ford F-150. They'd take that, and we'd pay the person for the information, and then we'd sell it to each OEM. Each car manufacturer has like an overlaying entity that handles these leads. So we'd then sell it to Ford Direct, which is that group for Ford. They'd resell it to like 5 of their car dealerships. So like the whole thing was a little funny, but I mean, a lot of people were looking for cars back then. So
how was you mentally when you were doing that? Were you thinking that's something you might do the rest of your life, or just a stepping stone? And the other thing is, did God enter into your life at that time?
I would say, almost when I went to Metro Detroit, I would say my faith weakened.
Okay.
Right down there, and I'll talk to the business stuff, and I mean we can come back to that if we want. But moving home was really good for my faith, right? Being around like-minded people and that type of thing. But that job, I was there to make money, right? And I didn't.
BZX Big Rapids.
Sorry.
Okay. I didn't.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Okay. So I think, ultimately, it was good for me to learn. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. But okay. I think the best thing that came out of that job was learning to just pick up the phone, right? My first day of work, it was like a U-shaped office, and everybody had an office outside, and they set me right in the middle at a desk and said, here's a list of people from this conference that are in this industry. Start calling them. And I was like, okay, but what if somebody picks up and wants to have a conversation? I have no idea what I'm doing. They're like, well, if somebody picks up and actually wants to talk to you, come get one of us. So they ripped the Band-Aid off quick, right? And I got really comfortable making phone calls. And at one point in that job, I was trying to sell to used car dealership managers. So, you're trying to sell into those guys. Like, that's a pretty rough group of people. Like, they had no problem wearing me out. So, it was really nice to learn that skill set and not have any fear of getting on the phone. So,
I always get off. I really enjoy people's lives, and the reason I wanted you to come in today is because I think God has a big plan for you. Always has had one. But back when you're young and you're playing baseball and you got a great family background, there, and the support staff is there, but mentally, it's really got to be hard on these athletes going through high school. I guess I'll try to get to my point here, Tyler. Kids are playing on travel teams today, and folks are taking their kids in hockey all over the Midwest and having a great time. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But then all of a sudden, when they graduate from high school, the percentage is pretty low on going to playing Division I hockey. And mentally, it's got to be pretty stressful. How did you handle humbling yourself maybe after being a prima donna at Central and you had the MAC title and you're thinking, wow, we're good, I'm good, I'm going to go to the next step, and you found yourself, well, I'm not going any further. Mentally, that's got to be pretty hard on you, eh? And what would you say to a young kid coming out of high school today to say to them, enjoy your years of high school, but understand the purpose in life isn't always athletics. There's another purpose in life. And then you went down to Detroit and did a job that, well, you presumed that maybe you'd be doing that the rest of your life. Then all of a sudden one day you woke up, you don't know if it was in divine intervention or what it was, but now you're up here You know, and how old are you? You're
Just turned 34.
34 years old. So, and you're happy. Mm-hmm. Did you think you were going to be this I know I've got a lot of questions in between my long sentence here, but did you think you're going to be where you're at 34 when you were 24?
No.
No, right. So when did you see a change in your life? Was when you got married to your beautiful wife over here, Alexis, or was it prior to that? What you saw, did you have a goal? Do you need a goal? We know we need a purpose.
Well, when I first went down, I'll answer. I'll come back to the purpose part in business, but first I'll answer the athlete question. And I think it goes really fast, right? And I think where a lot of people get lost now when it comes to youth athletics is they're just so focused on the results and the statistics, and it doesn't really matter. Like when you talk, it does, right? Like performance is important, but when you talk to college coaches, good at statistics are a dime a dozen. They're looking for good people. They're looking for team people who want to, be a role model and do things the right way. But ultimately, you have to just enjoy the process. You got to love going to practice and hanging out with your teammates and getting better and staying locked in. But if you're just focused on, I got to get to the next level, like you're focused on the wrong thing. Like you can't focus on the result. You have to focus on the process and the next step that you can take today. I think a lot of people, when they feel overwhelmed or depressed, they're focusing too many steps away. You can't accomplish it that quickly. But what you can do is, have progress today and execute today, and then move forward. And then, going back to kind of like that turning point when I first went down to Metro Detroit, I was in sales, and I was just focused on like making money, right? I went down and I had a house by myself in Ferndale. Pretty soon after moving down there, I did meet Lexi, which I was very grateful for. And eventually we got to the point where, I transitioned to another sales job, and it was very financially rewarding. I mean, I had set financial goals for myself that I wanted to achieve. And then I remember waking up after a bonus check hit my bank account and looking at it and being like, oh yeah, look at that. Like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then driving on my commute to work and being like, oh, it's not actually what you think it is, right? There's no impact to anybody. I'm just moving money from one guy's pocket to the next guy and getting paid a little bit on the way. And, we started building a foundation together where we could have an opportunity to do what we want with our time. And I think we kind of landed on, we eventually got to the childcare business. It'd be great to take these skills that I've learned and come back and expand that and have a positive impact on the team members there and the communities we serve, and provide a high quality early education to, these rural communities that otherwise, don't really have access to it necessarily. Like some communities have good childcare options, but it's very few and far between. But we wanted our time to have more purpose, right? And I think that kind of leads us to this conversation and what we're doing in Stanwood and the tree lighting. You only get a few hours every day, and we wanted to make sure that those were impactful, not only for ourselves in a selfish way, but for the communities. And in my opinion, there was no better place to come back and do that than home.
All right. Now, Lexi, we're going to get you in this program too, but I got to ask you, Tyler, real quickly, and you can make it a short answer. Your mother got into a business at the time that there wasn't a lot of daycares. What pursued her to do that? Was it because she wanted to raise you kids and then have some extra income by raising the neighbor's kid? Is that what she did it for?
The story I know is I went to a half-day preschool at Northland Church in Stanwood, right there on Northland Drive.
Okay.
And it was a half day, and some parents that I went to school with approached my mom because she was, I don't think she was working then. I'm sure she had probably just had another baby because we have 5 siblings.
Right.
And asked her if she'd watch them for half days. So she did that, and then they started talking to their family, and ultimately she ended up having the childcare center in our home.
Right.
When I was, 8th or 9th grade, or like 2008, I think, they built it must have been before that. But anyway, they built the house up on the hill that my sister lives in now, and she had like more of an established childcare center in the basement, and that got to the point where it was busting at the seams. So in order to serve the community and the need, she built the first childcare center across the road from the high school. And, I think that when I talk about like leading with heart and trying to have an impact on the community, I think that definitely, that mindset came from my mom, right? Because it was never, I mean, she says for years and years she lost money serving the community and taking care of those kids, but she saw the greater impact that it had. And I mean, especially now you see some of those kids that were the quote, air quotes, I hate the word daycare, but he called the daycare kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're off doing amazing things. And
Right.
I think she can sit there and, you know, smile knowing that she had a big impact on their lives and was able to give them a chance.
Her bringing up, though, from her mother and dad had a big impact on her, as you and you and I and Bob. Well, I don't know, Bob. We haven't got into his family yet. Someday we will. But your mother is a farm girl. The culture back then, if you married a farm girl, man, you was marrying a prima donna woman that knows how to work, how to love, how to share. Those farmers worked hard. I mean, they didn't work by the hour. It was all effort-wise. And now she brings that to daycare and did a great job. I've always heard positive things about her. Kind of a silent woman, though. She didn't go out and brag about herself or go out and advertise the hunting child care. It was word of mouth, and I always say that's the best advertisement. You've expanded on that. So what made you guys move back up here? You saw a need for it, obviously, right?
Well, yeah, it kind of got to the point, you know, the job I had wasn't fulfilling. It was a few things at once. And then at the same time, it was COVID. We lived through COVID down in Metro Detroit, and, you know, there wasn't really a sense of community there, which I think was challenging for us. In COVID.
Yeah, we were really close with our friends.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, yeah, I'm so sorry, Alexa. Hey, Lexi, first of all, let's stop everything and we should go to our advertisers, but I'm not going to. I want to know, where did you grow up at, Alexa?
I'm from Bay City.
Oh, yeah, Bay City All Saints.
I went to John Glenn. I grew up
yeah.
Bangor Township out by the state park in the Saginaw Bay.
And what did your dad do?
My dad retired from General Motors when I was like 9 years old, and he's a master electrician. He just was always tinkering and having his rental properties. He eventually did some storage units. So
Vietnam vet.
Oh,
yes.
really? Okay.
Happy Veterans Day to my dad and my brother.
Yeah. Oh, your brother was in the service too. What?
Yeah, my brother went to the Air Force Academy.
Wow, good for him. How about mom?
She was a nurse. Now she helps us out with the grandbabies, does some bartending at their local Moose Lodge. And she's really about community too, and just helping different organizations. She's really passionate about a camp for kids with cancer called Special Days.
Wow. Yeah, I knew you were special when Tyler got hold of you. You can tell you're just a great addition to the Hunties. So what was your greatest childhood memory growing up in Bay City? You're a blue-collar people, right? Wouldn't you say blue-collar?
Yeah,
so you
I
lived
think
in
so.
a neighborhood or on the farm? Or?
Yeah, so I lived in a neighborhood right on the Saginaw Bay. So I didn't really realize how lucky I was to look out at that view every day. My mom actually grew up in the house next door, so that was pretty cool. She's always lived in like the same little area. I would say one of my favorite memories is I got into horseback riding. I wanted to do piano lessons, and my parents were like, why don't you try horseback riding? Joke was on them because piano lessons would have been a little bit more affordable. Right. My mom went out of town on a ski trip. We had a foreign exchange student, and she took him and my older brother skiing, and she said to my dad, don't buy a horse while I'm gone. And then my dad and I promptly went and found a horse.
A lot of horse people over there. So how old were you then?
Probably 12.
What did it teach you then? What did the horse teach you?
Oh, I mean, it taught me a lot of responsibility. Because I grew up on the water, my horse was at a stable a couple miles away, but I was responsible for cleaning out his stall every day. My dad would actually go just at lunchtime and like let him out into the field and stuff. So it was kind of a team effort with me and my dad. But I had some really good friends, and we kind of grew up together, just monkeying around at the barn and loving on our horses. It really shows you a lot of responsibility.
So now, do you have your kids into horses or anything? Or do you think you'll have
No.
them into horses? Tyler says no.
I don't know. We've done some pony rides like at the fair and stuff. Jude, he'll be 5 in January. He's a little nervous about them, but
you'll talk to them when they get a little older about your childhood, right?
oh, definitely.
You know, I found myself doing that, and then God's afforded me to have a nice little farm there with the horses and stuff, and both my sons are hard workers, and I say it came right from that farm that we lived on. Not a big farm, we didn't have dairy, but we had horses, and those kids had to go out and do chores. We picked rocks. I was telling my brother Joe, I says, you know, my kids learned how to work right on that racetrack. And he goes, how's that? And I remember when they were all three of them, my Abby Rose too, we'd take the wagon around the racetrack every night and pick rocks.
Yeah.
And
I see it even with, like, we got some little chickens this year. I see it with that, just having that routine of something you have to care for. I think it's really good for kids.
So, so you learned early on how to have a work ethic.
I think so.
And enjoy doing it. That's what we
And I had some good role models, yeah.
Who were they? Mom and Dad?
My parents.
Yeah. But your greatest thrill was the horses. You talked about that more than any sport that you played. Did you play sports in school?
I played soccer in high school, but equestrian was definitely my main priority. Yeah. Now, I mean, I get on a horse, I feel a little nervous. I think, you know, the fall would hurt a little more now, but it's like I didn't have any of that fear before.
Yeah. So you guys are a team. You two are a team on everything you do, eh? Tyler, you've really expanded the daycare. How many centers do you have now?
We have 8 locations.
And then you oversee all 8 of those.
We have I mean, I guess yes, but we have a pretty robust team to support those. I mean, we have a great office staff at our central office, our central support center in Rogers Heights, and then we have a really strong group of directors who are overseeing those sites and on site. And I mean, ultimately, like the teachers are the ones who are providing the care, right? So getting them the support and the education they need and keeping them there is the most important thing for us.
You guys do actually teach, don't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tricia Quant, right? Same as
you're right.
You love her.
Right.
She is she creates our curriculum. So we had tried doing different curriculums, you know, throughout the history of the business, and we always had troubles with implementation. So we took a step back and, you know, made a curriculum that aligned a little more with what, you know, our values, and was a little more usable for the teachers. So they implemented it in the classroom, and it's been really successful. Yeah. So every age, right? Like there's age specific materials in the classroom, and the teachers are educated on the brain development for that specific age. And
when they come out of your school, you might say, you know, it used to be daycare, but now it's more than just daycare. You're not just watching these kids, you're teaching them, you're molding them into being good little students, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we want one of our main values is joy, right? We want kids to want to come. We want the teachers to enjoy their job, and ultimately, we just want children who are happy, right? I think if you're happy and you're feeling safe and you're comfortable, education comes after that. You know, at those age, I mean, we have the 2 and the 4-year-old. They learn everything, right? Like we have structure around it, but as long as they're in an environment that enables it, like they're gonna learn.
So, Lexi, you take your kids to the daycare with you, or?
Oh yeah, yep.
You work at the one at Big Rapids here?
Well, part of our central support team, so I do marketing, and our kids go to the center.
You guys ever think about starting a charter? I mean, you guys have a lot going on.
If you want that conversation, you can talk to my sister Alexis.
Right.
She's the one.
Yeah, she works for the company too, eh?
She does it now. She does do training for us. Yep.
Okay, so
she just had another baby.
How many she have now?
5.
I
look at my wife, I lose track with my siblings.
They're good people, aren't they? That Mitch and her.
Yeah, they're great people.
They really are. Yeah. Now, she was a great volleyball player. All your siblings were good, but your brothers are younger than you.
My brothers are younger than me. Yeah.
Not comparing, but
Nick played football at Ferris and Chase played baseball at GRCC. So everybody did play sports at the college level.
Now, what are they doing now then?
They own a construction company together.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do a
Good
lot of
for them.
they do a lot of work for me, but they do primarily like pole barns, and barndominium houses.
Oh, really? How do they how would anybody get a hold of them? Just are they on Facebook?
Yeah, I mean it's Hunty Construction.
Okay,
To keep it
Hunty,
simple.
that's
So
pretty
yeah, if you're
simple,
looking for
yeah.
a pole barn in
Right.
the Central West Michigan region, give them
Boy,
a call.
your mom and dad did a great job on work ethic. Nobody's on the roll of the government, are they?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, that's great. And then you only had one sister then?
I have two sisters. Ashley, my older sister, and Alexis is my younger sister. They both played volleyball at Ferris and
Oh,
were
okay.
very good.
Yeah, they were good, weren't they?
Yeah.
I was excited when they played at Mortis Stanwick. Didn't they win a state championship?
Yeah, they both won a state championship. So Ashley won one in volleyball, and then Lexi, I think it was 2012,
Yeah.
they won the volleyball and the basketball state championship in 1 year. So,
Yeah. Who was the coaches? Let's just give them a little.
well, Robin was the coach of volleyball for both teams. And a great coach was the girls basketball coach. He's always done a good job of bouncing between girls and boys basketball to whichever team's going to be better.
Why do you think they had such success down there? Who started that?
Well, I think with volleyball, I can speak to because I watched it, right? My Aunt Robin really focused on building a program from the ground up, right? So when those girls were young, they were taught the Morley Stanwood way of volleyball. So by the time they got to high school, they had a pretty good foundation, and then they could work on those next level skills and schemes and things like that. And you know, when Morley Stanwood was really strong at football, my dad did the same thing, right? The Rocket Footballs knew our playbook, they knew how we operated, so that those kids could learn the system. That when they get up to the next level, that's just like a walk in the park, right? They know their steps and their moves and everything like that.
Now your sister's the head of the program now.
Lexi is
Basketball?
Alexis is the boys basketball coach. Yeah.
How's that going?
I mean, they were, I believe last year they were around 500. And before that, I don't think they were very good. But
Right.
the conversation that I had with parents of athletes to the few games I went to is that they did much better than anybody expected. So, I mean, she's a good coach, right? She understands the game. It sounds like she's able to connect with the players, and you'd assume there's maybe some friction with a female coach and the boys, but I think ultimately, she holds them accountable, right? And she knows the game, and they can respect that.
But she's more into volleyball.
Well, she helps Robin with the volleyball team as well.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So she's involved with that. But yeah, she's very involved in the athletics at the school.
So those kids, she married Mitch Cummins, right? Pretty good athlete in his own right there. We all know that. And those kids are going to be pretty good athletes. The Hunties are going to be a full force here in another, many, many years to come, aren't they?
There's, 14 cousins right now? 15 maybe? I don't even know.
Anybody going to go to Big Rapids?
Unlikely.
Probably not. I love it. That's why you got pride.
Yeah.
You know it is. All right, we're going to take a break. Thank our sponsors. Bob, you want to name them off?
Well, I'll let you do that, or we'll just take a break and hear from all of them.
Let's hear from them all, yeah. We'll be right back.
Curries Corner. Pennzoil in Big Rapids is your quick-stop shop for oil changes and so much more. With certified techs and 35 years experience, they'll have you in and out in a flash, and a free car wash with every service. And don't forget about tires. As quickly as the seasons change in Michigan, it's easy to lose your grip. Luckily, Pennzoil in Big Rapids has the tires you need to dominate all seasons in Michigan. Big tires, fast tires, grippy tires, sleek tires. Go see Zach Wells at Big Rapids Pennzoil today. He'll get you back on the road and ready to roll. That's Big Rapids Pennzoil, located at 710 North State Street, or give them a call at 231-796-4730.
Where do you go for Michigan's #1 concealed pistol license course? The same place thousands of Michigan residents have over the past 15 years, the Barrington Firearms Training Center. The BFTC conducts state-certified CPL courses right here locally inside the Barrington Conservation Club at 3444 18 Mile Road in Barrington. For just $99, all you need to bring us is your Michigan ID to these all-inclusive one-day CPL courses, which include the use of firearms, ammo, eye and ear protection, coffee and donuts in the morning, and lunch at noon. That's right, just $99 gets you everything needed to take a police department instructed course that includes the training necessary to safely load, unload, handle, and store your firearm. Students will also be trained on when it is legal to defend themselves with a firearm under Michigan's Stand Your Ground law and Castle Doctrine. Call 231-250-7257 or go online at michigancpltraining.com to register for one of their upcoming $99 all-inclusive CPL courses. Get armed, get trained at the Barrett Firearms Training Center.
Hi, this is Pat Curry. When I think of drywall, there's only one guy in town that I think of, and that's Dale at 231-679-0475. If you want a great job done in your house, whatever you need, drywalling, call Dale. Dale and Frank will do a great job for you. Great pair of Americans. DW2 Drywall. Give them a call at 231-679-0475. Remember, DW2 Drywall.
After decades of satisfied customers, Paris Auto Sales is still your trusted used car center of Big Rapids. So if you've been driving the same vehicle for what seems like decades, come on down to Paris Auto Sales and get yourself a new ride today. Now with 2 locations to better serve you. Trucks, cars, SUVs, big or small, and everything in between. That's Paris Auto Sales. Their team has the experience to get you financed and get you into the vehicle you've been waiting for.
I'm Seth Wenger from Wenger Insurance. For more than 100 years, we've been providing professional service and competitive insurance to West Michigan. Come visit us on Perry Street in Big Rapids or give us a call at 796-0778. We're here for you now, and we'll be here when you need us most. 796-0778.
Sometimes crossing paths with a flying stone is inevitable. But whether you have a small chip that needs quick attention or a windshield that's beyond saving, Michigan ADAS Calibration and Glass is there to help. If your vehicle has been in an accident and you're working with insurance, they'll handle the entire process from start to finish. From windshields to back glass and even power windows, they'll see you through it. Pun intended. Save time and skip the dealership with Michigan ADAS Calibration and Glass. Same location as JR Customs and Collision, just north of 19 Mile in Big Rapids.
When the time comes to say goodbye, you need a funeral home that understands your family's needs. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus have been a trusted part of this community for generations. They do take care of every family like their own, and they hear it time and time again.
My name is Christina Beers. I would say there's lots of funeral homes in the area, but there's only a small few that can do it with class and with quality and with that personal touch and care. And I would put Janowitz Family Funeral Home at the very top of that list.
Let them help guide you through a challenging time with care, respect, and compassion. The Monk Janowitz Funeral Home in Big Rapids and the Janowitz Family Funeral Home in Remus. Local, professional, and here for you when it matters most.
Hooked at Curry.
Hey, I want to tell you something. Their sandwiches are incredible. But get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions. You won't ask where the beef is.
I'm Haley. My husband and I bought our home pretty much about 2 years ago. We are actually looking to downsize now. We use Sue Bean. She has become a friend of mine over these last few years. I've got to work with her, and she's just one of the sweetest souls. She really knows a lot about the field, and I felt like she was our best choice. Sue Bean makes it personalized because she figures out exactly what you're wanting as a buyer, and she figures out exactly what you need as a seller. So she combines both of those things and successfully helps you get exactly what you need out of any scenario. I'm grateful for Sue's persistence, her honest feedback, most importantly, her caring concern to us as the seller, and then also additionally with this piece of property that we purchased as the buyer. She's there to protect you as both. That was really important to me. You can get a hold of Susan Bean at Big Rapids Realty by calling 231-580-9546 or online at bigrapidsrealty.com. Email her at sbean, S-B-E-A-N, at bigrapidsrealty.com.
All right, we're right back here. We're going to talk real fast so we can get a lot in here in the next 35, 40 minutes. Got the parade at 11 o'clock. Be there, Veterans Parade. Show your support. Those guys fought for us. Let's show them support. And Alexa's dad was in the vet. He's a veteran, and her brother's Air Force still in the Air Force, Lexa?
No, he's no longer in the Air Force.
Okay, but he's a vet now.
Yep.
All right, my question to you is, and then we're going to talk about Stanwood, Michigan, because we got Mr. Stanwood here, man. You talk about being proud, as I am of Big Rapids. I got to ask Lexa a question. Of 80 to 100,000 people. You had a lot of people over there, right? Well, in that circle
like
over
40,000.
there. Yeah, 40,000. All right, I always like to exaggerate, Bob, right? So anyway, you came to Big Rapids with Tyler, not knowing a lot of people here. In the next couple minutes, I just want, from an outsider, do you think Big Rapids is a good little town to come to, and was the reception as good as you expected? And did you see that, you know, I want to live here the rest of my life, because obviously you're going to now with the investment you guys have here. What was it like for an outsider to come here?
Well, I would say when we would come and visit, when we decided to buy our cottage, which turned into our house, and that's kind of how we ended up moving here full time, is that it's just so beautiful. And it's straight across the state from Bay City, about 2 hours. So you wouldn't think it was that much different, but there's a lot more like elevation changes, and it's just really beautiful to look out at all the trees. And we live on Rogers Pond, and to get to watch the sunset every night, I tell Tyler, like, I just couldn't imagine living in a more beautiful place. I've definitely found a good community of friends. There's a few of us women who moved here because of our husbands as well. They're local, so we found good community with that. I really love that there is that community aspect. If you want to get involved in something, if you want to put on some type of event, or, you know, volunteer for someone else's event, people welcome that. They're not territorial. It's, yeah, what can you do? Let's make this happen for the community.
We won't talk long on it, but I just want to say I admire both of you because you're in the family business. I started on my own back in the 70s, and then I joined my dad and brother, and at times it was pretty tough. But I give my mother a lot of credit for the family atmosphere that we kept in our business and the respect for one another. Now, we were just talking off the mic here a little bit about Abner and Matt. They're taking over the business, and I'm probably hurting them being on the radio. But anyway, I admire both of those boys because they put up with me, and I apologize to them every day now that I went maybe a touch too long in the business, you know, and they're doing a great job for me. But it is tough, more so a son and a daughter taking over from Pa, because Pa, one thing we don't want to do is see you make the same mistakes as we did, and that's perhaps not good, because everybody has to fall before they actually rise. You two are very successful. Being that said, you don't just sit there on your laurels and say, okay, we got Hunty's Playhouse here, and we're doing really well. We're working hard at it. I hear how hard you work, Tyler, and I hear how hard you work, Alexa. And you've gone beyond that. Now, you've seen your community kind of deflate. You know, back in the day, I had Doc Fry on here, and he was telling me how many vibrant businesses were down Stanwood, Michigan. My God, that place was booming. 2 blocks of everything you wanted there. A pharmacy, a bank, a restaurant, blah, blah, blah. The big elevator. So nobody, it's kind of, Davison's were that last ones to put an investment in there, I think. And then nobody since really, you know, your dad's had, his business was taking care of that school down there, so he really didn't have time to put his energy into Stanwood, rebuilding it. What made you want to do it, Tyler, on top of what you have now? You're a parent of 2 lovely little boys and a beautiful wife. You've got everything going for you. You took that next step you're putting back into your community.
Yeah, I think, you know, to take a step back, before we even moved back home, Lexi and I, which is a great thing if you're trying to test out your relationship, we remodeled and flipped and like house hacked 2 houses in Detroit. So at one point we had 40 doors of student rentals, and we're kind of scaling that back. You know, we've had several properties and remodeled them, so we've been down this road, right? We've over the last few years, we've built a skill set of buying properties that need some love, putting love into them, and then, you know, either leasing them out or some of those were child care centers or selling them or doing whatever.
Should have done a show.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that all day.
I think we've had the opportunity to live in a bigger area. Like Metro Detroit is full of so many great communities that have these little walkable towns, and that's what we did when we lived there. We would go and explore, try new coffee shops, restaurants, or anything. So to see like those communities, and then to see how could we bring that to our community.
Yeah, and I grew up right in Stanwood, right? Like if you stand at the elevator, I don't know if I could still do it, but at one point I could throw a baseball probably and hit my parents' house. So
Really?
that downtown was where I spent a lot of time, and I didn't really come back much when I was in college. But once we bought the cottage up here and we started coming back and forth, and especially when we moved here, it really bugged me seeing the state of those buildings. And at the time, Ivan was running his liquidation business out of the elevator, and he had bought the old market and post office across the street. And I told him, I was like, Ivan, when you're ready to be done with this, let me know, because I want to come in and I want to fix Stanwood. And
there was even a time before that when they were up for auction, and Tyler spent the night trying to bid on them, but just shows you God's timing.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we were still living down in Metro Detroit when that auction happened, so we wouldn't have been able to, give it the time we need now. But, ultimately he called our office a couple years later, and he got a hold of me and was like, I'm ready to be done. So we put together a deal and closed pretty quickly. And then the building next door, I approached a guy who owned it and said, hey, I purchased these. We're going to be putting a project together to renovate them. Are you interested in exiting this property? And we made a deal with him. And so we have, several of those buildings down there.
So you're going to, as we speak here, I'm thinking of Brooklyn, Michigan. You ever been to Brooklyn?
I've never been to Brooklyn.
You got to go.
I don't even know where
Faster
it is.
horses.
Oh, yeah, the racetrack. Yeah. I have been to Brooklyn, Michigan. I just don't remember.
Well, no, that's fine. But I do, and it's the quaintest little town in Michigan. They got little shops in there that the townspeople aren't there as much as visitors from outside the area. Mm-hmm. So I can see that, and I'm sure you're a visionary. I know you are, but you're going to have something like that, like, say, a candy store, a destination point. That's what we got to do in the small town.
Yeah, my friends love coming to visit because they love to see the Amish, and then they're always like, look at this little Hallmark town that you're living in.
Yeah.
Which is how we got started with wanting to do the tree lighting.
Let's talk about that real quick. We'll move ahead and go back. I'm good at that.
That sounds good.
I hope
we'll hit it a couple times.
Yeah. All right. Tree lighting. Tyler came into station, yesterday or the day before. Mm-hmm. It couldn't have been Sunday, but it must have been yesterday morning. Yeah. And you talked about the tree lighting in Stanwood. How unique, Bob. I mean, nobody's going to do that but Tyler and Lexa Honey. Tell us, how did you think that?
So with Tyler's family, his aunt lives in Manistee, and they do a really unique tree lighting up there called the Victorian Sleigh Bell Parade. And so they bring the tree in on like a sleigh, and there's a whole parade, no motorized vehicles. It's all kind of Victorian, and then they light it, and it's just such like a warm and cozy feeling. It's actually always really
magical.
Cold.
Yeah.
But it's super magical, and just it kind of kicks off the holiday season. So, we've always thrown out the idea it would be fun to do a tree lighting in Stanwood, and
sure.
A week or so ago we thought, well, let's just do it. If we're going to do it this year, let's just make a Facebook event and get started. And I think it just really shows how much the community is craving community, and also the revitalization of Stanwood, because just with this Facebook event, all of a sudden it was 50 people interested. Now it's over 300 people. I've had businesses and also people call me who, what can I do? So it's really been amazing.
Are you going to have a grand marshal? And when I think of a grand marshal, I think of Les Ellison. Right down the road. I love them people down there. Stanwood, you guys got a lot of people, very successful people.
Yeah, we're not going to do the parade this year because we're going to get the tree. We don't actually have a tree in Stanwood, so we're going to get one. And Truman's Tree Service is helping us with his crane to actually get it and stake it up and everything. So we thought, well, let's just make sure it's all stabilized and everything.
Where's that at then? Right, we're at by the elevator? Or?
Yep, just south of the elevators where the tree will be. The event's from 5:30 to 7:30, and the tree lighting will be at 6:30. But there's tons of like family-friendly activities, warm drinks. Corner Cafe is doing some food. Santa might make an appearance.
Oh, good. How about activities? What are you going to have down there, Alexa? What do you?
Boy, so for the kids, actually one of the businesses we're going to be opening is called Little Village, and it's a community play space. So it's not quite ready to, it won't have everything in there, but we want to invite people into the space and just start hearing about what it's going to be. In that building, we are having different like arts and crafts, kids activities, sponsored by Hunty's Clubhouse and Big Rapids Realty. And then in the back section of that building, they used to do silent pictures actually on the outside of it, but they used to show movies there. So we thought, let's do something like that. And we're going to be playing Frosty the Snowman every half hour. There's going to be a horse-drawn wagon from Healy's Outback Ranch. Coffee and Cream and Macasta's letting us use their like lawnmower train where the kids
the trackless train.
Train.
Cool.
So that's amazing. The Woods Church, they're offering their parking lot, but they're also have a Christmas choir, and they're doing a live nativity scene.
Beautiful.
The Mohawk art class, they're working on luminary bags, so we'll have those set up along the White Pine Trail and throughout Stanwood. Let's see, we have Family Photo Station that's sponsored by Big Rapids Realty, and West Michigan Photography is doing that. KRS Retirement Services will be giving away some different treats. And then could I just shout out the sponsors of the event?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some committed presenting sponsors who are Stanwood Eagles, Horizon Bank, Twisted Tree Landscaping, and Explore Big Rapids, Mecosta County Visitor Bureau. Then our community sponsors, Matt Creek Flowers, Ozzy's Pub, and the Janet Ellison Bowman family. And we're really grateful from the support from Ice Mountain, and then, of course, our fire department and the sheriff's posse.
And soon to be Curries.
Yes, and Curries and B103.9.
Yeah, I tell you, when Tyler told me that, I said, well, we'll help you sponsor that, because you know what? We need young people like you two in this community. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of good people. But you two have really stepped up and took this, because I think God has got a lot to do with it. He's got big plans for you guys. I love your energy. I look at it and I get tired thinking about it. But anyway, when is it then? When is this?
So it's Friday the 21st, 5:30 to 7:30.
2 Fridays from now.
To November 21st.
Yep.
We'll have to announce it next Tuesday again to make sure, and then we'll put a plug in. I asked Jen if she can do kind of a free plug once in a while for you guys on the 21st at 5:30 to 7:30.
Yep.
And then you got plans for Stanwood. Tyler, you're a visionary, I know. And you know, when I was your age, I was all out too. I mean, I would never fail. And you don't have failure in your vocabulary, and neither do you, Alexa. I know you don't. You guys both very positive. You've made a lot of great relationships, and that's what it takes, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, going back to that, failure is learning, right? Like, you're going to make mistakes, there's going to be bumps, and you just, I mean, I'm a big proponent of learn from doing, and then you really won't make the mistake again. But yeah, I mean, down in Stanwood, we, ultimately our vision is we want to make a community space, right? A space where a family can come down and, enjoy their time and have access to things that, aren't currently available in the community. And in the old elevator, we're going to keep it a retail space. So, luckily we haven't had to invest a ton financially into it. So we have the things. So we've been clearing out that space, and we're going to give it a little bit of a facelift with some paint but continue doing like the pallet liquidation and see how that works and how the community responds. When Ivan was doing it, there was a lot of interest. It just like wasn't super organized. So I think that a lot of things got missed, but you know, we have a good team down there, and we're going to give that a shot. And also in that space, we're going to put a little coffee shop, with some like light breakfast and lunch options.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, kind of like and it was interesting. So, I mean, I'm going to go a little off track, but I had somebody at Ancestry.com reach out to me and say, hey, I have these interviews with my great grandma and they converted them to MP3. And I just got them yesterday. I'm into AI to have them transcribed, and then had ChatGPT give me like a summary of it because it was hours and hours and hours. And in that, she's like, you know, that co-op elevator, that was the center of the community. That's where people would come and sell their eggs, get ice cream, spend time together, do all of those things, right? So
all the gossip.
Yeah, she was like, everything was posted, like who had a calf, like who had a kid, you know, whatever, whose chickens died, like all of those different things. So, you know, we want to bring back that community center. And then, you know, across the street, Lexi mentioned the little village. That's something we've talked about doing for a long time, and now we have a space, and we definitely have a lot of stuff that we can put in there. We are going to be looking for businesses to sponsor different sections, so you can be like, oh, look at this, you know, bulldozer, an excavator area where the kids can play with that, sponsored by Morningstar Excavating or somebody like that, right? So the businesses can support, you know, providing a good place for those kids, and then having music classes, sign language classes, piano lessons, potentially things like that in that space that there's not really a ton of access to right now.
Yeah, great place for birthday parties.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other building, that's the old Fish's Market and Post Office. Right now, the front running idea is putting in a fitness center, so like a gym where we can provide classes and do different things. So, you know, we think there's an opportunity in the market for something like that. And selfishly, I'd love to have a gym 5 minutes from my house instead of going to Planet Fitness 15 minutes from my house.
And then commingling those ideas where, you know, if you're taking a class, maybe you can do we can offer some type of child watch at Little Village.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's something, you know, that's hard to find, childcare, so you can take care of yourself, but it's really important for moms and dads.
You know, one thing I'd like to see in this area we don't have, and I know it'd bring a lot of people to
Pot shop?
No. You don't have one of those down there, do you?
No.
Thank God. No, I don't like going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning smelling weed at Maple and State. But anyway, we'll get off that subject. I love Big Rapids. A lot of positives going on here. We need a recreational center. I mean, Tyler, you're the one that could do that. We need a Field of Dreams in Big Rapids. We've been talking, my wife and I, about doing this for quite some time. I thought about doing it over the fairgrounds, but, you know, I'm not 30 anymore, and I just don't have the energy. But there's lands around here, but Stanwood, you got a lot of land down there. You know, I mean, if you put in a 5 or 6 softball field place, or where the kids can play tournaments on the weekends, something to think about. I know you got enough on your plate.
I know a good piece of property in Big Rapids right off 220th, right by our childcare center. That'd be great for it.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be great.
We need something like that. Well,
yeah, I think that there's a lot of interest in travel baseball and travel softball, and I think, you know, there's organizations in the community who would really be interested in driving people staying at hotels. So I think if, you know, I'll go off on a little bit. There's going to be the chamber and the economic development. It was announced that we're combining. You know, we're very close to having an executive director, and I think initiatives like that being brought to those organizations to bring to the community and feel out like, you know, we're going to have that group again to drive that and that team. So I think, you know, that's we're getting to a spot where we can have those conversations and be a little more effective.
I just hope you don't get burned out, Bob. He's got a lot on his plate, doesn't he? My Lord.
And can you imagine I've been holding him back?
You too, no, you haven't, but you're right there behind him.
Well, I have to support him.
Yeah, Lexi's the motor.
You're wonderful, wonderful couple. You guys, it does take a team, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm very grateful to have a wife who supports, right? She supports, and on top of that, you know, she's a great mother to our children, supports me doing the things that, you know, we as a family feel are important, and you know, she sees the value. I mean, when we started talking about the Christmas tree lighting and sponsorships, I think I came back a couple days after. I was like, all right, I got 4 premium sponsors for you. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, that's crazy. I was like, it's not crazy, Lexi, because people want to be involved in the community. They want to give back. And, I think,
need to.
Yeah.
People have to get back together and get that culture back to what we used to have, what you were raised on. I mean, I look at Lexi and her parents done a wonderful job on her, and your parents did a wonderful job on you, and you guys are going to keep that tradition alive with the energy alone. But going back to Stanwood a little bit, downtown, are you going to get the Amish down there a little bit too, or make it kind of a...
I have somebody who's going to make an introduction to the Amish bishop. So it sounds like the east side of Northland and the west side of Northland have like different leadership down there. So we're going to definitely approach them and have a conversation about our ideas and see how they want to be involved.
I would love to have like a farm stand, the fresh produce, the things you see on the side of the road. So every time I'm stopping at one and I have an opportunity to talk to the Amish there, I'm throwing the idea out there. So
yeah, because people love destinations. They like getting in their car going to Manistee, you might say, or where'd we go? Oh, we went to Glen Harbor a couple weekends ago.
Oh yeah, I heard you talking about Glen Harbor. That's a really cool place up there, isn't it?
It's a destination.
Yeah,
and the people up there are real friendly, but it's not much bigger. And boy, they love it. Of course, they got the lakes, but we got lakes around our places too. We got the river, so yeah, and
we have the White Pine Trail. Stanwood is the heart of the White Pine Trail.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got a lot going. Boy, she's the chamber director right there. I can see it now. No, I know, but you got a lot on your plate. But Economic Development Corporation and the chamber have merged, so therefore you're going to have. They don't have an economic development executive director right now, right?
No, so they'll both will be housed under the same organization. Yeah, yep.
And then, like, you've been very much involved with that.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. What have you been doing so far to get it started back?
Well, I mean, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Last October, the existing chamber president left, and I stepped in as a vice president to be the president. And I've had the opportunity, as we're expanding the child care operations, to go into different communities and say, hey, I know Cadillac, Manistee, these areas have a huge child care desert. So I've interacted with their organizations, and I've seen what it's like when you walk into a chamber to be given the resources that you're looking for, get in contact with the people you need to. And, I saw a vision for what the chamber really should be. And, there's obviously like some turmoil with the economic development group with Goshen and all of those things. So there's, it's kind of good timing for them to, rethink how they're approaching things. And in these small communities, it's very common now for chambers and economic development and CVBs and all these organizations to be working together, right? We have a finite amount of resources. There's only so much money here, and there's only so many ideas and so many people. So we all need to be rowing in the same direction of progress in the right way. So, we met with the MCDC. They were interested in the merger. We brought in a consultant who is from Manistee, and actually, like I tell the story. I went up there, and that was my best experience by far with the community. Manistee was incredible. They were well prepared, beautiful building, knew what they were talking about. And the lady who is the CEO there, she's like, hey, today's actually my last day, and then I'm moving down to Grand Rapids. Long story short, I was suggested by somebody that, hey, we should look at talking to Stacy as a consultant on this, because she built one in another community. And then I got on the phone in a conversation. I was like, she's like, oh, we've met before. I was, this person up in Manistee. So we brought her on to help say, hey, how do you achieve that in this community? Like, what are the things we need to do? Like, how does the board need to be compromised? Where does the money need to come from? Like, how does this work? So she, we worked almost a year on structuring that, getting commitments from businesses and building our board. And, we just held final interviews last week. So hopefully, we can announce an executive director and a CEO and start getting really active for the beginning of the year.
So I guess, with Facebook and everything on Facebook, you can get on there and advertise what you have and stuff like that. It's going to be tough, but I think we do need unity. And I think we all have to work together, and we got a great community. We just need some leadership, and I think you're going to be a good leader on that. Alexa, how do you guys find time to do everything you're doing? Do you ever say to your husband, like, Tyler, I mean, we got to slow down a little bit?
Yeah, regularly.
Do you? Yeah, you almost. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tough. We're in a stage where our kids are really little, and that feels fleeting. So, yeah, I battle with that a little, but we just try and do things as a family. Like if we've been cleaning up those buildings in Stanwood, and it's like, all right, let's all go over there for a couple hours. And, sometimes you can't get as much done as you could without the kids. Thankfully, my mother-in-law lives just a hop, skip, and a jump away, so they usually end up going to visit grandma. But I'd say it feels good when we're doing it as a family. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, I guess that just fills my heart instead of feeling like I should be in another place.
And I think, one thing about the Stanwood project that I didn't really get to was we have an incredible team built right here, right, that we use for the child care centers and for different buildings, from HVAC to electrical to building to, septic services, all of those things. So
businesses we
work with, right, like partners in the community. So when we were looking and having the conversation, like, does it feel like too much? It doesn't, because we have those relationships.
Who are they?
And we trust those people.
Who's your partnerships?
I mean, we typically use Routley's for septic, Central Michigan Mechanical for HVAC, Anthony Ayers or Matt Snyder for electric. My brother lives right next to my parents, so them for, a lot of the framing,
Advanced
Train Line Solutions. Thank God for Bill coming in, giving us some insight into what's happening with those systems. But like all local people, right? And when you have these conversations about this initiative, they're all so excited to be involved. And I've been driving through Stanwood for 15 years and it's looked the same. So, there's a lot of community support out there to really see it be successful. So it doesn't feel like as much as a lift because it's not all on us. We're just kind of making the connections and getting things going.
I always tell people in life, if you want to be successful, you have to have a goal. That's obvious, right? Well, they always said, what was your goal? I said, I don't know. I really, when it's all done and said now, I guess I look back at my life and I think I wanted to support my family, morally and money-wise, but you got to have a goal, and without a goal, you're not going to be successful. What is your goal?
Well, I would say less of a goal and more of a purpose, right? I think goals, kind of when I talked previously about like that financial goal I have, I think those are fleeting, right? You achieve that goal and it's not necessarily what you thought it would be, but my purpose is to be a good husband and a good dad, right? I want to be a role model for them. Like Lexi said, when we go down and we do that work together, I want to show them it's like, hey, we can get our hands dirty. Like they love riding the tractor. They're never going to say no. So we try to make it fun for them. But ultimately, I want to positively impact people's lives, right? Whether it's from the childcare business where we're offering a reliable opportunity for people to go to work and know their children are being cared for, and also those children are getting a great early education, that's very impactful, right? And our doors being open are supporting the economies of these small communities. And then, when it comes to the Stanwood project, I mean, having that community back, and I mean, we have big plans for, once these buildings are done, potentially like putting a playground in and more areas for the community. Like that's going to be a huge benefit for the families and the children in that community. And with the little village, we are ready when it's getting dark at night and cold. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with these kids? We need a change of scenery. Well, like, let's try it, right? Let's see if the community, positively responds to that. So, ultimately, we want to I want to, stick to the values we have as a family, do things with integrity, be a good role model for my children. But ultimately, I want my time to have a positive impact on people and better their lives.
Yeah, I often said that was my goal, is having a purpose. You got to have a purpose. Where do you see you guys in 10 years?
Probably still in Stanwood. I mean,
still with that purpose, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, the purpose will always remain the same. I mean, 6 months before I came back home to, run the childcare business, I would have said there's no way in hell I'm doing that.
Really?
But then we had our first son and a few other things happen. It was like, okay, like I do want to do this. And, I would have a couple years ago, if you'd have said, well, you're going to own these buildings in Stanwood and have this project, I would have said, like, yeah, right, no way. Like, there's not potential there, but, over time you sit and ponder and think about it and the impact it can have. And, I'm never dead set on one strategy. I'm always willing to, see where the Lord takes me and see what my wife is willing to tolerate.
Well, if I was you, I'd change Front Street to Destination Street. I think we need to form a destination right there in Stanwood, Michigan. I applaud both you guys for doing that, man. I said, without you two, I don't know where Stanwood's going, because there's vacant down there, and like I said, that's where God steps in and says, but you guys are very confident about yourself. That's a start right there, let alone. And then that bleeds off onto the people that work for you too. I got to give you a little puff in the cheeks there as I talk to your help. And I've never found one that says you're not a fantastic director. They just really appreciate when you come into their buildings. That one up in Reed City, we won't talk long on, but that's a huge building. What was that before you guys bought it?
Yeah, so that building was Mahabir's a medical center. Yeah, so we I'll tell that story quickly. It's interesting, and I can do it quickly. So we were approached a couple summers ago by a local provider up there who was ready to exit the business. So we walked around their building and we're like, I don't know, it's kind of like connected to a church and it just would be a little funky. And my sister was in the business at the time, and we went home. We were like, this is a great opportunity, logical expansion. We went home that evening and I got a text from her, and it was that building had been posted for auction on Last Bid Real Estate that day.
Wow.
So I got a hold of them. We went and looked at the building. At the time, Kevin DeFever was still in the industry, so we asked him if he'd come in and work on. It was like his last big project. So he came in, and we actually settled on a price prior to auction on that property, locked it in, and remodeled it. And yeah, it's got capacity for I think 101 children up there.
Yeah, it's a nice road going to it.
Yeah.
It's very good, accessible there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what else before we leave this 10 o'clock hour? 1039 B in the front. Yep. Right? Did I say it right?
WBZX Big Rapids.
I know. Lexa, you want to say anything?
Well, I could just share that if you want to find more information about the tree lighting, we still have room for more sponsors or volunteers, or just come out and have some family fun. Just search on Facebook, Stanwood's first annual tree lighting.
That's what I understand with first tree lighting.
Well, I'll add to that too. Yeah. Anybody who's interested in watching the progress of downtown Stanwood, you can follow downtown Stanwood on Facebook, right? Yeah. So we're going to be posting our updates with, Little Village or Fitness Center or the retail space. We'll keep people in the loop on that, and we'll have more information on the 21st as well.
Well, we never stop right at 10 o'clock. I know I got to get going to the parade, but I got to ask you one thing. Tyler Hunty, a lot of people go to work at 8 o'clock and get out at 5 o'clock, and then they complain about not making enough money. Tell us what Tyler Hunty does. What time do you get up in the morning?
I get up between 5 and 5:30
and
go to the gym. Yeah. But I'm in bed by 9:30.
That's fine.
But even when we were down in Metro Detroit and I had what you would call a 9 to 5, all my evenings were spent remodeling those houses.
Yeah.
Right. And getting after it. So it's just, I
could say something about Tyler, and we were kind of talking about his early days getting into sales. He was never out looking for another job. If he saw the vision, and he has a lot of grit, and he put his head down and did the work to do it. I think sometimes we're quick to, I don't know about this, I'm going to look for something else and all of that.
Correlate your athletics to what you are today. How did that influence your sports?
Well, I can compare it to sales really well, right? And it's just trusting the process. So when I took my second sales job in Metro Detroit, I had capped out basically at the previous one, and a buddy brought me over. And after my first year, the CEO took me into his office and was like, yeah, you basically have 2 months or you're fired. Because I just couldn't get things going. A couple weeks later, we went to a pitch in Minnesota, and the guy that I went with, we prepared just extensively. pressed our suits, made sure we were on top of it. Showed up this entire company who operates a software for all like EMSs in the state. So very important software has to be up and running. So we show up and we give our pitch and we nailed it. We're like, all right, excellent. They had another person there another company that they're working with now did the same thing as us. They went up there and did their pitch, wrinkly shirts, weren't prepared, said, I don't know a lot. And ultimately a rep, Microsoft rep came to me at a dinner after that and said, hey, can you do that again? I was like, yeah, I mean, absolutely. He was like, all right, well, I got a book of business and I want to move it over to you. And the rest was history. The next 2.5 years was, I mean, a really, really good, right? And that financial benefit of that meeting, has really built Hunty's Clubhouse, this downtown statement, has given us the means to reinvest in that from that job. But when you relate it to sports, it's like, just be prepared for the moment, right? Like, you never know when that shot's going to happen. That could be the turning point. Right. So if you can stick to it, stick to your process, stay committed, good things happen when you're ready for them, right? Yeah. Luck comes to those who are prepared. So I would say, just keep getting up every morning excited, and try to do your best in everything you're doing. Just seek to achieve excellence.
Well, I'm going to leave the program with this, Bob. You are what you are is from the environment you come from. And Alexa, you came from a wonderful environment in Bay City, Michigan, from wonderful parents. You talked about them, how big of influence they had on you. So your environment made you, right? Tyler, the same thing with you. Your dad being a coach, role model, athlete, but more importantly, it was the environment of your mother and dad and grandpa and grandma and aunts and uncles and everything, and that's, I guess somebody's out there saying, what you talking about? You're just blabbing. No, I'm not, folks. It's all about family. That's what really makes it or break it. If you want to show your family, give them a great environment. And you guys are very fortunate. We're very fortunate in Big Rapids, Mecosta County, Stanwood, whatever, but we are fortunate to have Alexa and you here, and we're glad you guys wanted to come here and reside here. Bob, we've done a nice job this morning. I hope it helps some young people out there, because Tyler came from a little school in Morley, Stanwood, to achieve what he's done at the age of 34. When you're 24 and you're out there saying, I have nothing going for myself, remember what Tyler, Hunty, and Alexa has done with themselves. You can do the same thing. Have a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, God bless America. We want to thank our sponsors. I can't forget but to thank Zach Wells and Kim at the Auto Repair Center, 10-minute oil change, Pennzoil, right downtown Big Rapids next to Zot's Bar and Grill. Wenger Insurance, Seth, proud guy from Baldwin, over here in Big Rapids and Perry Street. Great guy, great family guy. DW2, Dale, can't say enough about old Dale there. Dale and Frank do a great job on drywall. Gilbert's Carpet Plus, they sponsor so many more things than any other business in this community is carpet, Gilbert's Carpet. But more importantly, what they do for the vets in this community is just wonderful. Tom and George, God bless you both. And then you got Barrington Firearms and Training over there, Cal and Casey. We got some tickets on for sale right now down at Curries there for the gun raffle. It's sporting youth wrestling, and I think youth baseball. I'm not sure. Darn it, I'm blinded on that one. It doesn't matter. It's for youth. The money's going to youth. Paris Auto Sales, great place to buy a car, and both locations are going up, and they look really nice, and they've got some great vehicles at State and Maple, and the one north of town, been there for 100 years. Steve's done a great job, just like his dad before him. It's kind of like the Hunties, they back and invested in their community, showing that they want to be successful in their own communities. Paris Auto, Janowitz Family Farm and Home. I know it. I had to say family farm because that rhymes to family farm. But it is kind of like a farm, though, because, they're sensitive to, well, I better stop right there because it's not funny. But I'm going to laugh. Janowitz, great people. Monk Funeral Home right there in Big Rapids. Michigan ADAS, that's up there. Jason Rakoff and Company. And Big Rapids Realty, Susan Bean. Carmen and Susan, been a long time resident. Well, Carmen's from Stanwood area, and he brings Big Rapids, great people there, Susan Bean, and then hooked at Curry's. So we want to thank those people. See you tomorrow on our talk show that we have tomorrow with Brad Ancliffe, some team players. Brad's a great athlete out of Barrington, Michigan. A great coach over in Beale City. He's back here in Big Rapids working, so we're going to have him on tomorrow with Sheriff Miller. God bless America, right, Tyler?
God bless America. Thank you to our veterans. Seriously, it's an incredible company.
Paris Auto Sales is your used car center of Big Rapids. Now with 2 locations to better serve you. We know you're a hardworking individual and you need that 3/4 ton because you never know when you'll have to haul a grand piano. And for those families that keep on growing, you're going to need that 3rd row so that your little ones can store their leftover french fries between the cushions. We've got that sport utility vehicle that's ready for the job. Paris Auto Sales, your used car center of Big Rapids. Sometimes crossing paths with a flying stone is inevitable. But whether you have a small chip that needs quick attention or a windshield that's beyond saving, Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass is there to help. If your vehicle has been in an accident and you're working with insurance, they'll handle the entire process from start to finish. From windshields to back glass and even power windows, they'll see you through it. Pun intended. Save time and skip the dealership with Michigan ADA's Calibration and Glass. Same location as JR Customs and Collision, just north of 19 Mile in Big Rapids.
Curries Corner, brought to you by Hooked at Curries, Susan Bean at Big Rapids Realty, Big Rapids Pennzoil and Auto Repair, Seth Winger at the Winger Insurance Agency, Gilbert's Carpets Plus Color Tile, Barrington Firearms and Training Center, DW2